Hi, so this is a review for the JideTech mini dome camera. The camera is about 4¼ inches across. Usually you would not want to be removing this, but it gives you a and I wanted to give you a look of the inside. The camera moves in 3 dimensions, and also I wanted to take it off because I was getting some glare. So the mounting is via a metal plate, and you put you insert and turn. You have to remember with this cable that the cable goes through the metal plate when you're mounting it. You really don't want to be 2 stories up and realize that you forgot to put it through, which I did in my basement. The power is coming through the Ethernet cable. It's not wireless. In fact, wireless is kind of overrated for a camera that's going to be mounted high up, because you're still left with having to find a power source for the thing, and it's a lot easier to run an Ethernet cable than it is to run a power cable. So the instructions are provided on a couple of pieces of paper, and frankly they're kind of limited and they're not that easy to understand. But what you find is that the pieces, if you know what you're doing, the pieces of information that you need are in there. So it's going to be a daunting task if this is the very first camera that you've ever tried to install. It's always going to be a daunting task to install your first camera, at least at this price point. But if you've installed a few, then you can figure it out actually pretty easily. And once you've done that, the installation actually goes pretty well. So we're looking at the browser interface in Firefox extended release. That's Firefox ESR, which is kind of lax on some of its security settings, so it's easier to get things running. Initially, you install a program off of their mini disk, and after you've run that, then if you go to the IP address for the camera, which is in the instructions, then you'll get this page as a starting page. If you run through all these various things, then at least in Firefox ESR, it'll slot itself into your plugins and give you the interface quite without pain. Okay, so this camera is actually upside down compared with how it would normally be. So what they offer is there is an option to vertically mirror, so you can flip the image, and hopefully you can see in the little inset box that now the arrow is pointing up. There are a range of settings which seem to be quite comprehensive, and if you've ever used a Foscam or Amcrest camera, then you'll recognize the various options. They're going to be in different places, but it's moderately intuitive if you know where you're going. So this will probably take a second to load. So we have the camera. So we have Ptz functions, so we can move in 3 dimensions, like that. And we have the option to zoom, which, okay, that was zoom. It'll zoom more than that, but it's seems to be a little slow. So you can go up to 3x. You can see I have some still shots that I'll load when I put this up as well, of it at like normal and full. What else here? So as well as using Firefox, I loaded it into Blue Iris, which I use to manage a whole bunch of cameras. So you can see this again is the same image, and now it's being pumped into Blue Iris, which is a more powerful management program, which can record, send you emails. Though you can do that from inside the camera as well. Your other option is to use an app on your phone. Hopefully this will show. Okay, so this is an Android app. It's pretty simple. You don't have PTZ control here. You can go to full screen. You can go to full screen. The good news is that I think that this was PPD. You took the you're basically scanning from Hi-C app. You're scanning the 2D barcode, and I'm assuming that, as I say, that's PPD. And if you bought a cloud service, you could probably do the same thing and have more tools, more recording tools, more control tools. Getting out of here and going back to the browser. Now, the thing has infrared as well as visible. These are the little LEDs for illumination. If I start turning off lights, at some point it's going to flip over to I guess it's not going to do it. I'm getting too much daylight in from somewhere. But it will go to grayscale, and it'll go to grayscale, and then it'll bring up the infrared. I have light coming in from one doorway. Okay, so that's about it. If you found this to be of any use, then I'd be obliged if you click yes for it being helpful somewhere in the text version. And thank you.